Hi there, this is Sandra with the Mortgage Center. Thanks so much for joining us today. I have a great friend of mine and a very special guest here for the next conversation we're having on the new normal, brought to you by the Mortgage Center. So we actually have the author of Cleopatra's Riches, and I have her book here, and we've actually been doing it as a book study in my office. So Martha Adams, thank you so much for joining us today. And I know as we were getting ready for today's interview, you said like we know each other and we go back. So I've always appreciated you and your insight into finances. And you're a financial planner. So as a mortgage broker, I take care of the liability side of a person's personal balance sheet, and you take care of the assets. But I think the book is a lot more than just that. And when I was reading through it, I thought what was really interesting was the background and the history on that. So I'd love for you to share that with the folks who are watching today.
Oh, that means so much. So first of all, I really want to thank you for having me. It really is an honor to be here sitting with you, particularly knowing you over all these years and having the opportunity to sit together and have this conversation. So I wrote the book with the heartfelt desire that we all have exactly this, a conversation around our feelings and beliefs on money and finances. And it really is a personal conversation. It's one that we can each take ownership of as truly our own. And that at the center of all of that are our feelings and beliefs on all aspects of money.
Right. So that's interesting in itself, given the times, right? So I know that through this pandemic, at least what we were seeing in our office, many things have changed for people because they may have found themselves, being on government assistance programs because of how their job was structured, or different, even maybe losing their employment, right? And so that relationship around money and the emotion and being able just to make the bills, pay the bills, it is challenging for some.
Mm-hmm. You're absolutely right. And I love, first of all, that this series is called The New Normal, because we really have an opportunity right now when it comes to the financial conversation to create a new normal. And one of the things that happens is that, well, we don't really talk about money or finances. And when we do, it's not to the positive. And those negative feelings end up getting suppressed. I mean, if we think about something negative in our lives, do we really want to talk about it?
Right. And so it's funny how many people, because as we were doing the book study here in our office, I had a different experience about money than the colleagues that work with me. So I was and I'm as you had mentioned in your book, I'm a first generation Canadian, right? So, and I'm from an immigrant family, and my parents were really open about their money situation with me. I remember even writing rent receipts for my dad. That's back in the olden days where you actually had like a receipt book. So we were really, my parents were very open about their financial circumstances and things like that. But the two people that work with me, they had a different experience where their parents were a little bit more guarded. So there is also a sort of a paradigm that you develop based on your own parents, how you've communicated with about money in your own family or in your own situation. Yeah, can you comment on that and how that influences your decisions today?
Absolutely. What a great point you bring up, because, well, for so many reasons, including the fact that within it, you're exemplifying a really key point. Which is that our connection to our own money story, right? What has, like, our views and beliefs that have been developed over time is truly personal and different for each of us. So whether you spoke about it growing up or not, it wasn't necessarily a positive experience. And even if it was spoken about, what you may have heard or what someone may have heard is all of the negative aspects of it. So, here are all the bills that are due. For example, here are all the bills that are due, and the stress of money, the lack of money, the fact that, there were cuts and at work, there are layoffs. And so that's where our biggest associations, our negative associations come from. And then we don't speak about that. And when we don't speak about it, we can often feel like we are alone. And what I want everyone watching to know is that you really are not alone. And right now, we have an incredible opportunity to create a new normal when it comes to having a conversation, a truly positive conversation around all aspects of money that you can truly call your own, because it's based on no one's story but yours.
But your own. Excellent. So how do we start having those conversations and change that dynamic? And so what are some of the recommendations that you might have for our listeners as they're watching today?
That's a really, really great question. So let's talk about the first thing of understanding your own connection to all aspects of money, right? And the way we do that is, well, really connecting to the idea that a lot of us are in, which is the make, spend, perhaps save cycle when it comes to money. And we can really connect to it by understanding right away what our associations are with each of those words. The connection to words is actually really powerful and reflective. So if I say to you the idea of making money, what emotions and associations immediately come to mind? That's going to be very reflective. So let me give you an example. So sometimes when I say the idea of making money, we can have negative associations like guilt, obligation, worry, greed, right? We can have really negative associations with the idea of making money. That if you're making money, then it must be associated with dishonesty.
Yes,
right?
I know, and so that is so true. And I mean, when I just for my own personal experience, because we want to try to make this a little bit personal, when I hear you say making money, I'm like, yeah, let's go for it. So that's my attitude in that. And then I always sort of preface that with, yeah, let's go for it. But we don't have to do it in a negative way or in a way that's gonna hurt people. So like our philosophy in my office, and I keep kind of promoting that and encouraging my staff to think that way is, we're a business. We're here to make money and earn a living, and we're also here to serve and help people. Right. So, but that's kind of come from years of kind of coming to terms with the fact that it's okay to make money, and yeah, like let's do it and let's have a good and profitable business. And at the same time, like serve the clients that we serve in a positive way to help them move forward financially. But that might not be that's taken years to kind of get to, right?
And I love that. I love that you connect to that fact that, hey, that was a journey. And I think that this is something that idea in and of itself is really, really beneficial, that you went through a process of self-discovery to come to that positive shift. And that's what's so essential, because it is your own journey that brought you that shift. And that same kind of idea applies to understanding the way we feel about both spending money and saving money. What associations do we have? So if we highlight spending money, what kind of associations immediately come to mind?
Right. So that's kind of neat. So, and you have developed a whole program around this.
Mm-hmm.
Did you, and I know that's something that we're supporting. So maybe tell people if they want to sort of kind of start that journey and really look at sort of their emotional relationship with money, and they may have a little bit of extra time. They may not, but it's worth making a priority. How can they connect with you, and how can they find those resources?
Oh, thank you so much. Well, listen, I would love to continue the conversation, and the best way is well, a number of resources. The first is the website, which is www.marthaadamsmedia.com, and on Instagram is also Martha Adams Media. LinkedIn, it's all consistently Martha Adams Media to make it as easy to find as possible. So there's a lot of free resources. I have the blog as well. And of course, yes, the programs and the books, and then a free Facebook page, Facebook group, which is the Positive Financial Conversation with me, Martha Adams.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Martha. We're just we're hoping that our viewers just reach out to you, and because I know as I said, the book study that we've been doing here at our office has really helped us sort of reframe and talk about some of the issues that not only we find ourselves in when we're talking about money, but just also helping people move forward and continue with that positive conversation. So thanks so much for joining us, Martha. It's wonderful to chat with you. And for those folks who want to connect with the Mortgage Center, you can just check us out at skipthebank.ca, and we've got all of our social media connections there. So have a great day. Thanks, Martha.
Thank you so much for having me.
Bye.